Good morning, everyone. So good morning, colleagues, partners, and friends. So welcome to the 2026 Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Research Forum. So I am Rachel Bevan. I'm Director of Statistics Division here at ESCAP, and it's my pleasure to be moderating this opening session. So as you know, this is our second CRVS Research Forum, but it's actually the first one that we've held jointly with Economic Commission for Africa. So we're really pleased that that means we've got such a wide range of partners here in the room. But I know as well, this is hybrid, isn't it? We've got people online as well. I can't see because I haven't joined it online, but I'm told that there were also lots of people joining us online. Oh, I can see there's pages of them now. So welcome to you as well online. So we don't want to forget that you are joining us as well, and thank you for taking the time to be with us as well. So in this opening session, we're going to hear from Ms. Lin Yang, who's our Deputy Executive Secretary for Programs at ESCAP. Then we will hear from William Muhwava from Economic Commission for Africa, and then from Dr. Mira Guramurthy from Vital Strategies, one of our key partners in this work. So after we've heard from each of them, we will then have a keynote presentation from Ms. Adrienne Pizzatella of Bloomberg Philanthropies. And then after that, we will hear from Tanya Sejerson, who's from ESCAP Statistics Division, and she will then go through an overview of the whole forum and some more of the logistics. So to begin our program today, it's my pleasure to invite Ms. Lin Yang, Deputy Executive Secretary for Programs at ESCAP, to deliver her opening remarks. And she oversees ESCAP's work in finance, social development, statistics, and also our regional institutions, and provides strategic guidance for our cooperation across the whole Asia-Pacific region. And she joined ESCAP, I think it was two and a half years. 2.5 years. Time goes so quickly. Yeah. 2.5 years ago, from United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, so DESA, in New York, where she was Head of Strategic Planning and Communication Services in the Office of the Under-Secretary General. So over to you, Ms. Yang. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, distinguished delegates, colleagues, partners, and friends, our ECA fellow, William and Mira, and very, very warm welcome you to this building first. And I just shared with Rachel, this is one of the oldest conference room, the conference room 3. If you look at the ceilings, we still keep the original. So I hope by sitting here, you can feel this strong sense of solidarity, unity, right? We have many, many participants from the different countries. We are located in Asia and the Pacific, but the countries from all over the world. It's, I hope by looking back, by looking at the history, by looking at this conference room, it's in a moment to revitalize this strong sense of solidarity. And secondly, very warm welcome to this 2026 Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Research Forum, organized by ESCAP together with our counterpart in Africa, the Economic Commission for Africa, and our valued partner, Vital Strategies, represented by Mira. This is, as Rachel said, the second CRVS Research Forum. This forum builds on the success of our inaugural and somewhat experimental event in 2023, and marks an exciting step forward as we expand from a regional to a global platform for CRVS research and collaboration. This forum brings together practitioners, researchers, policymakers, and development partners from around the world for 3 days. I see the program is very, very rich And I hope this will provide a platform for interactive discussions and peer exchange. We are pleased to host this event in a hybrid mode. As Rachel just showed us, we have the screen there, enabling broad participation while ensure face-to-face interaction here in this building. Our collective aim remains clear: to strengthen CRVS systems so that every life is counted, every person is protected, and every individual and the community is visible in the data that shapes development decisions. CRVS systems are fundamental for achieving the 2030 Agenda's promise to leave no one behind. They ensure legal identity, support access to essential services, and generate the core population and health statistics that inform responsive governance. Yet in many parts of the world, millions of births and deaths still go unregistered. This leaves the gaps in rights, services, and evidence-based policy making. Events like this forum play a critical role in addressing these forms and gaps. Research helps governments, development partners, and donors make informed decisions, optimize investments, and identify the most effective strategies for strengthening CRVS system. It offers insights into what works, highlights emerging challenges, and provides evidence to guide the evolution of CRVS policy and practice. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the authors, presenters, keynote speakers, moderators, and the reviewers whose dedication over the past months has made this forum possible. Your research advances our collective understanding and helps to shape the future of CRVS in countries across Asia Pacific, Africa, and beyond. I would like to acknowledge the generous support of the Bloomberg Philanthropies Data for Health initiatives, whose commitment continues to enable this important convening and other parts of ASCAP's CRVS work. Over the next 3 days, I hope you will take full advantage of the opportunity to exchange knowledge, build connections, and challenge assumptions. As CRVS system evolve in response to new technologies, new data ecosystem, and new policy priorities, your expertise will be essential, ensuring that the system remain robust, inclusive, and responsive. I hope that by the day when we leave this conference room, we can collectively bring 2 key messages back to our community and beyond. Number 1, we should strengthen our efforts of investing in the data and the statistics. Second, with the next year, 2027, we will have the last SDG Summit. We shall collectively send a strong call from the Asia Pacific, from Africa, and beyond, that the principle of leaving no one behind should be well kept. So I thank you for being part of this global effort. I thank you for your commitment to ensuring that everybody, every birth, every death, every life gets into the picture. I wish you a very productive and inspiring forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for reminding us of the history that we have here in ESCAP, but also for setting the context for this research forum. So as I said, we're now going to hear from William Muwava, who's the Chief of Statistical Production Methods and Research at UN Economic Commission for Africa, And I know that's a new job title. So we also have your old job title listed here as well, which is the Chief of the Demographic and Social Statistics section at the African Centre for Statistics, which is part of ECA. And he oversees the demographic and social statistics programs and initiatives aimed at supporting African member states in data-driven development planning. So over to you, William. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me start with the protocols. You know, in the UN, we like acronyms, so I will call you DES. So DES, Lin Hiang, Ms. Rachel Bevan, Director of ESCAP Statistics, Dr. Mira Gurmathi, Vital Strategies Senior Technical Advisor, then to be joined online by Adrian Pistella, the representative of our funders, Bloomberg. Then Tanya, who will actually be moderating the part of the program, distinguished guests from the ESCAP, or Asia and the Pacific region, the African region, all protocols observed. Firstly, I would want to bring you warm regards from our senior management, the Executive Secretary, and we have two DESs. So both of them send their regards. On behalf of the Economic Commission for Africa, I wish to express our gratitude for being invited to be part of this very momentous occasion, where Africa is participating for the first time on the CRVS program. I want to thank our sister commission, ESCAP, for affording ECA the opportunity to be part of the research forum. As you know, we actually have 5 regional economic commissions, and here we have 2. And I'm actually hopeful that by the time we have the next forum, we'll have 3. By the time we have the next, we'll have 4. Then lastly, we expect to bring ECE, which is a very different way of doing their statistics. So this collaboration which we have with ESCAP will continue in this area of CRVS, and we expect that since we have our executive here, this will extend to other fields. We expect that this collaboration extends to economics, it extends to governance and all the other fields. And for us, we have set an example of South-to-South cooperation, and we commit to make this a regular event. Asia, Pacific, and Africa share common problems and issues. I remember even at graduate school, people from Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, we used to be lumped in the same class because we were looking at the same issues. It was the time of family planning, infant and childhood mortality, and so. So I realized from then that we actually shared a number of common problems. So because we have these common problems, we also have to look for common solutions. We're actually looking at the SDG 16.9 and 17.19, which we are all accountable to as practitioners and researchers in CRVS. And we actually hope that both Asia and the Pacific will actually report decent figures on those SDGs, because that's our aim. How are we going to leapfrog Asia and the Pacific so that at least in 2030 we should be able to say we contributed? Let me also express our deep appreciation to our funders, the Bloomberg Philanthropies Data for Health Initiative. I think they have actually made our travel here possible. Let me also acknowledge Vital Strategies, and I would want to put one caveat there. Both ECA and ESCAP initiatives on CRVS were actually born out of Vital Strategies. They used to fund us as a third grantee. So you can imagine the money comes to Vital Strategies, then comes to ECA or ESCAP. But they recommended to Bloomberg that these two regional economic commissions are doing great work. And I remember our budget shot up by 10 times from what we used to get from Vital Strategies when they recommended us to Bloomberg. The budget just shot up by 10 times. Then thirdly, let me actually welcome all the delegates who have traveled the breadth of the world to be here. And specifically, I wish to offer my sincere appreciation to our African delegates who had to travel long distances to be here at the forum, and often enduring very long waiting times at airports. I mean, one of the things which our co-organizers here did was to ask, should we go ahead with this forum with what's happening in the world? Are you sure your delegates will be able to travel to Bangkok without any, hitches? And apparently we have our Ethiopian Airlines, which connects Africa and Asia. So travel was seamless. The CRVS Research Forum really speaks to the legacy of our work and the future which we are trying to build. And I think the DES really mentioned it well. The legal identity, the visibility of every individual relates to knowing who you are first, and the ability to show who you are. So this is very critical. You can't just go to somebody and say, I'm William, and they believe you. They have to actually ask. You can also walk to an airport and just say, I want to fly to Taiwan, or I want to fly to Japan. They will say, where is your passport? That's identity. So those are the critical things. And identity is about reality. It's about real things. And I always say to my senior management, the DS and the ES, we are the people who actually make people visible, because this is tangible. It's something which is asked every time, every moment. So we are doing a very great job. So the CRVS system is actually building blocks to our identity ecosystems, and the most one being birth registration. A person has to be recognized immediately they enter into a population. They get a birth certificate. That's a foundational document, and that's where we are exerting a lot of our, efforts. Marriage certificates, very crucial. They provide women and girls with legal protection and access to fundamental rights such as inheritance, prevention of child marriages, paternity recognition, childbirth recognition, and so forth. Divorce certificates, very important for spousal support, child support, and protection. Then we come to death registration along with cause of death. Very important. So the research papers which you are going to present over the next 3 days will provide us with the pointers of how to improve CRVS system. So the journey ahead of us on CRVS is very crucial. It requires unity of purpose. It will require that we listen to the evidence, learn from each other, and act with agency. 2030 is just close by. Above all, it will require that we keep our focus on the people behind the numbers. I always say we need to think about that child there who doesn't have a birth certificate. We need to think about that death which is not recorded. What are the implications? So behind the numbers, which us as statisticians, there are people behind. There are livelihoods behind it. And those are the things we should actually realize as practitioners in CRVS. So today, therefore, I invite all of us here from government, development partners, academia, civil society, and the private sector to make the CRVS Research Forum a pivotal point. Let us take the findings and recommendations which we have made through all these researches which we do and translate them into concrete action. On behalf of ESCAP and ECA CRVS teams, I want to reaffirm our readiness to support countries through technical assistance, capacity building, research, and advocacy. Let us all leave this forum on Wednesday with the renewed determination to make everyone visible, to count every life event and build the foundations for inclusive, rights-based digital governance in the world. I thank you all for having traveled to this forum, and I wish you a very productive and inspiring forum. And lastly, please get time to explore Bangkok, especially for our African delegates. It might be the first or last time you are actually coming to Bangkok. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those comments, William. And thank you for reminding us of the importance of this work, and it really does affect people's lives, and for setting us a challenge to bring all 5 regional commissions to future CRVS forums. I think Tanya's looking a little bit frightened at that prospect, but we're also excited by it. And also thank you for reminding us that we are in this great city. If you need any recommendations on where to go or any shopping recommendations, just come to me. So now I'm going to pass over to Dr. Mira, and she's the Deputy Director of Health Programs at Vital Strategies. And as we've heard already, they're a really key partner in this work, and we appreciate all that they're doing really at the country level. So over to you, Dr. Mira. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much to ESCAP colleagues Lin Yang, Rachel, and Tanya, and to our ECA colleague William for your very, very warm welcome. My name is Meera Gurumurthy, and I'm here on behalf of Vital Strategies Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Improvement Program. Vital Strategies, we are a global public health organization working in over 70 countries to strengthen data systems for healthier and more equitable societies. Through the Bloomberg Philanthropies Data for Health initiative, we support governments to develop and modernize their civil registration and vital statistics systems with a focus on birth and death registration, ensuring every person is counted and every life event is recorded with accuracy and dignity. It is indeed our pleasure to be here with our valued partners, UNESCAP and ECA, to welcome you to this very important forum. And we're delighted that our long-standing collaboration on CRVS improvement, starting from the origins that William just described here, has now expanded to include this very important platform for knowledge sharing and dissemination. I may be preaching to the choir here, but it bears repeating. Civil registration systems are the backbone of identity. As William mentioned, our work makes people visible. Yet, as a colleague of mine noted at the last year's third ministerial conference for CRVS, held at this very same venue, millions of children remain unregistered, especially amongst marginalized populations. Cause of death data are incomplete or unreliable in many settings. Fewer than half of the countries consistently assign ICD codes. The use of verbal autopsy to capture community deaths remains limited. Disparities in registration completeness, quality, persist both within and across countries, underscoring the need for equity-driven interventions. And last, CRVS resilience has been exposed as a gap, particularly during crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic. The themes for this forum, barriers to registration, strengthening CRVS systems, digitization and innovation in civil registration processes, improving cause of death data, equity, and vital statistics. All of these are very well aligned directly to these urgent priorities, also highlighted by William. Research plays a very vital and sometimes and often underappreciated role in addressing these issues. Research systematically assesses gaps, identifies bottlenecks, evaluates interventions, and drives innovation. It also strengthens multi-sectoral collaboration by bringing together stakeholders such as you from diverse fields together. Vital Strategies' investment in research has been broad and very sustained, from clinical research generating evidence to guide practice, operational research aimed at improving policies and programs on the ground, and efforts to strengthen data-driven surveillance and research to inform and evaluate communication strategies. We have continued to promote research across priority areas such as environmental health, TB and tobacco control, and non-communicable diseases and injury prevention. We are therefore thrilled to contribute to CRVS research, an area with important intersections across all of our health priorities. A strong community of CRVS practitioners such as you, government stakeholders, civil society organizations, academics, and development partners. All of us sharing challenges, best practices, and innovations, it is essential. Thank you to all the delegates present here for stepping forward to contribute to this very important cause. To reiterate what all my other colleagues mentioned, we hope you make the most of the next 3 days and that you return to your countries, your organizations, and communities richer in knowledge, with new connections, and energized to advance this very important field of work. And as Lin Yang mentioned, that we imbibe the strong sense of unity and solidarity in advancing our work. I wish everyone a productive and successful week. Welcome again, and do enjoy Bangkok. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Meera, for your insights and also for reminding us of the important role which research plays. So we're now going to move to our keynote presentation, which is from Ms. Adrienne Pizzatella of Bloomberg Philanthropies. And she's a member of Bloomberg Philanthropies' public health team and has been involved in various public health initiatives, including the Data for Health initiative. Unfortunately, she was not able to be here in person today, although I know that she very much did want to be here, but she has provided us with a video. But just as we start, before we play that, let me also again join others in saying a huge thank you to Bloomberg Philanthropies for all of their financial support for this work, but also for their other support as we know, and that means so much to all of us and enables us to actually all be here this week. So thank you so much to them. So if we can now play the video, thank you.
Hi everyone, it's such a pleasure to join you, if only virtually, for the 2026 Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Research Forum. My name is Adrienne Pizzatella, and I'm on the public health team at Bloomberg Philanthropies, where I support the Data for Health initiative. On behalf of Bloomberg Philanthropies, I'd like to thank UNSCAP for hosting and organizing such an important gathering, along with all of you who represent the global CRVS community. As researchers, policymakers, and practitioners, your work is critical in advancing our shared goal of strengthening CRVS systems around the world. This forum is so valuable because it serves as one of the only, if not the only, global platform where we can come together to share research and lessons learned about real-world challenges that allow us to make actionable change based on evidence. We are also working to build a knowledge base that others in the field can learn from. And we're all working in this area because we are aware of the enormity of the challenge that exists. Today, about 25% of births and 40% of deaths globally remain unregistered. That means millions of people are never officially counted, never recorded in the systems that inform government decisions. This problem is at the core of why we started the Bloomberg Philanthropies Data for Health initiative. We've been partnering with low and middle income countries to support them in improving their data and use of data for decision making. And we're thrilled that so many of our partners in the initiative are contributing to this forum today. We launched the initiative in 2015 with a real focus on improving the CRVS system through improving death registration and cause of death information that's desperately needed to make public health policy decisions. Without reliable data, countries cannot accurately track their own progress on things like maternal mortality, non-communicable diseases, road injuries, or infectious diseases. They cannot fully understand what's driving death or where to target their resources to save lives. That's why CRVS systems are so foundational, especially to public health. Within Data for Health, we've seen incredible progress. In particular, countries where we partner have collected more than 25 million new or improved death records and nearly 24 million new or improved birth records. When we started the Data for Health initiative, however, we were told progress would be slow, arduous, and expensive. However, we think one of the most important lessons learned has been that timely progress is absolutely possible, and possible across a variety of settings. We've partnered with countries that have varying levels of maturity of their existing CRVS systems, and although both challenges and solutions are not the same, we've seen progress can happen no matter where the starting point is for CRVS systems. The success often depends on government commitment and champions making the system a priority in their country. We've also learned that there's a lot more work to be done and opportunities to expand our support. Additionally, as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic shed light on both the need for strong CRVS systems to track and understand mortality data, but also the urgency to improve these systems. Over the course of the initiative, we've expanded the scope to focus on things like equity and ensuring the registration system is working for everyone, including hard-to-reach populations. Those include rural communities, gender-diverse individuals, and refugees. We also developed a global grants program to support more countries through time-limited projects. This has really highlighted there's a real global appetite for this work, and countries want to prioritize their CRVS systems. Once again, that's why this forum is so important, timely, and needed. There's certainly been a gap in research around CRVS systems that you all are filling. It's also such a valuable opportunity to share this research amongst peers and across countries and settings. We know there are moments where challenges will be identified that will help countries figure out solutions and ways to get around barriers for improving CRVS systems, alongside innovations that will further provide resources and ideas for countries to make change. Finally, it is a great opportunity to ensure local capacity is being built and maintained. We hope the outcome of this forum inspires countries to take CRVS research and translate that into action by scaling proven solutions so that every birth and death are counted, which will improve population health and make sure no one is left behind.
Thank you so much. And let me again say a huge thank you to Bloomberg Philanthropies for all their support. So although this is actually the opening session of the 3-day CRVS Research Forum, we have just also finished a 3-day workshop. So that might be the reason some people in the room are looking slightly tired already, as well as jet lag. But what I wanted to also just say is a huge thank you to everybody that took place in that CRVS Applied Research Training Workshop, which started on Friday, which I saw many of you in the room there, and then continued all through the weekend as well. But I know that that was only part of the work, because so many of you in the room have actually spent so many hours, not just of your work time, but of your personal time as well, in the research which you've been doing. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to each of you, because this research forum is really just presenting just that tiny kind of end, towards the end part of that research. But we know there's so much more that actually goes on behind that. So a huge thank you to everyone. I also want to say a massive thank you as well, of course, to the team at ECA and my team here at ESCAP for all of the work as well that's going into actually actually not just doing this research forum, but also all the work that went on actually throughout the weekend as well in the CART workshop, and that goes on to make sure that the forum like this is a huge success. So I'm now going to pass over to Tanya Sejerson. I don't think she really needs much of an introduction because I'm pretty sure everyone knows her, but she is, of course, a statistician in my statistics division here at ESCAP, and she really is leading the work on the Asia-Pacific CRVS Get Everyone in the Picture initiative. And she has been working very closely with, I think, pretty much everyone in the room, and a huge thank you for all of the work which you do. And you're going to, I think, share a bit more about this forum, about some of the logistics. And I know from just a quick look at the agenda, there's quite a lot to share. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel, and also a huge thanks to our opening remarks. So on the agenda, it says that I'm going to give you a forum overview and logistics. That's a pretty big job, because honestly, we have been slightly overwhelmed by the interest in this forum. As was mentioned previously, we did have a bit of an experimental forum in 2023, where we did an open call for papers here in Asia Pacific, and we ended up with a fantastic forum. And we thought, well, let's do it again. And I'm looking at Nicola, because she was really instrumental to that, and she should be up here instead of me. So let's give a round of applause for Nicola. Because Nicola has really been key to both the 2023 forum and also the forum today. So for this one, the forum here, we did an open call for papers, and we were slightly overwhelmed because we got 160 plus people who were interested in presenting. In addition to that, we have all our CRVS applied research training participants, and many of you are here today. So this means that there are more than 200 people who were interested in speaking here. So I hope that you all feel very proud that you actually made it through the many reviews and all the hard work to make it here today. You've all done amazing work, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So thank you so much for all of that. And maybe you can all give yourself a round of applause as well. Thank you. So after all of that, all of those abstracts and reviewing and more reviewing, and we actually had more than 50 of our friends, colleagues, and partners to help with reviewing. So more than 50 people have been involved in reviewing all of these things. So after that, we have ended up with a small program of about 90 speakers. So we have a very busy 3 days ahead of us. I'm hoping that my dear colleagues could maybe put up the online program, because I really hope that you've all had a look at this already. It's on getinthepicture.org. It's the full program. And it's quite complicated because we have this plenary session today now where we're all in one room. But for the rest of the 3 days, except for the closing session, we will be in 3 different rooms. So the main room is here, and in this room we will have French interpretation. So if you predominantly understand French, I would suggest you stay in this room, because the main language of the forum will be in English. And in the 2 other rooms, we won't have interpretation. So this is the main room, CR3, and then we have 2 other meeting rooms, meeting room H and meeting room G, and they're kind of a little bit on the other side, but on the same floor. So you don't have to go up and down or anything, it's on the same floor. So you can have a look at this very busy program and see which of the sessions you're most interested in, and you can freely choose. Of course, if you are a speaker, please be in the right room, yes? And please be in this right room a few minutes in advance as well, so your moderators don't get totally freaked out. So please be there on time, yeah? So we have a very rich program. We have multiple themes. We have these parallel sessions. We're covering death registration, marriage registration, birth registration, certification, strengthening CRVS systems. There are sessions on digitalization. I mean, it's a very long list. So you really have to look at the program online, and it is here. What you can also find online is the papers and bios of all the speakers. So we have had an amazing team that has been working very hard to get all of this on the website. So this means that if you go into any of the sessions, you can find the papers. And when it says papers, the bio will be in the paper as well. So if you see a topic that is interesting, please have a look at the paper. Please have a look at the bio of the person. And please make sure that you grab that person and have a chat with them. In 2023, the research forum was online. That is great, but it doesn't give you the same chance of interacting with other people. We've spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to get you all here so you can really reach out to each other and have that connection with each other. It is such a unique opportunity, and it is really unique because it's the first time this happens, and who knows if we'll do this again, but it's definitely a unique opportunity. So please make sure that you take the advantage of talking to everyone that you can. Yeah, make sure you get home with your pocket full of email addresses and LinkedIn and whatever so that you can keep in contact with people. A lot of you work on similar topics, often in settings where you don't necessarily have peers that work on the same topic in your country. Yeah, so take advantage of all of these amazing people here. They wouldn't be here unless they were really amazing. So please take advantage of that. Okay, I had a long list of things I wanted to say. Yes, a couple more things. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to any of the SCAP or ECA staff. You can kind of recognize us because we don't have the delegate note, we have like a different kind of badge. So please reach out to any of us. If we can't answer, we will definitely find someone who can. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any comments or questions. However, if you want to make last-minute presentation changes, don't reach out to us because we cannot manage that. There's too many presentations, so please don't ask us to come with a USB and change your presentation last minute. It's going to be very, very hard if we have 90 people doing that. So we very much appreciate you sending the presentations in advance, and those will be the presentations we are showing and also on the website. I think that is all I had on my very long list of things I wanted to cover. Yes, it is. Last thing before we have our coffee break. So all the coffee breaks will be served out here in front of this room. So if you're in a session in one of the other rooms, you'll have to make it up here for the coffee breaks. And for lunch and coffee and so on, there's many different options around the building. We have 2 different canteens, there's multiple cafes and so on, so please just explore. There are several options in the building. There are also prayer rooms, there's banks, there's all sorts of facilities here. So please take advantage of whatever you need. And I think that's it. When we finish the session, we will have a group photo. That group photo we will have just in front here. You might have noticed there was a little set of stairs when you came in. So we'll have the group photo there. It's the only place that can accommodate for this many people. So I think that is it from me. I'm just looking at my colleagues if I'm forgetting something. I think that's about it. Okay, thank you so much all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for setting all that out. And as Tanya said, do please look at the website to see where all the sessions are taking place. Make sure that you turn up in the right room for your own session. But please encourage you all to try out the different sessions. And I know from what I've seen already that actually people already seem to know each other pretty well, don't they? And I've seen that, so that's great that we know we can really build on that. And with all of these presentations, I would just remind people as well to be on time for things, because I can see that there's a lot to get through, which we want to make sure that we kind of give everybody the right amount of time. So we will go for coffee break early, which is a really great start, isn't it? And that means then we'll be coming back here at, I'm just checking with Tanya, 11:30.
We'll be back here or one of the 2 other rooms.
Or one of the other 2 rooms. So you have a little bit of time as well to find the other 2 rooms, which are, as we said, to the left. It's not too difficult, room G or H. So we will start again exactly on 11:30. So it'll be great, particularly if you're presenting, to make sure you turn up in the room by 11:25, please. And at that point, thank you to everyone. and we will go outside for a group photo. So thank you very much.